Welcome to Digital Nomad Health. The idea that I want to present today, and I think it really affects all of us, is that health insurance is not the same as health care. Health care is what we are really after, what we need, what we take our kids to the office appointment for. And health insurance is a way that we can have access to those appointments, to those visits. The classic example is someone who has a major health event and needs to go to the hospital or the emergency room. Obviously, in that situation, it is great to have health insurance. You know that in the end, there is a maximum amount that you're going to be responsible for. But I think a story that might help you kind of understand the difference and the importance of the whole health insurance versus healthcare is a good friend of mine who in his 40s, I'll be vague, in his 40s, he had a major health event. It was a cardiac event that nobody saw coming. In fact, he didn't really have a family history of that. However, there were some other signs and symptoms and things that even him and I had talked about over the years. Well, it ended up, unfortunately, sending him to the hospital and the ICU and all the bad stuff that you can imagine. But fortunately, he had the health insurance to take care of him. For the next few decades, he's going to need a lot of visits to the doctor. He's going to need a lot of utilization of that health insurance to maintain his health and to allow him a decent quality of life, not a perfect quality of life, because that sort of went away with that major health event. This is where it's really important to understand that health care or health and health insurance are not synonymous, in that if my friend was in a place where he could have really thought about his health in a different way and been more proactive, gone to the doctor regularly, had regular appointments with his doctor, been comfortable enough to talk to his doctor about all the symptoms and things that he was feeling, and feel empowered by his physician that he could actually make some changes that could change the outcome in the long run, then I think he would have actually done far better using access to healthcare, so maximizing his health through access to a good quality physician, as opposed to relying on his health insurance to get him through something really difficult, such as this major event. It is important, it is great to know that we have health insurance should a major financial catastrophe hit us. But if we wait for that major catastrophe to hit us, it's almost too late. By the time we end up using that health insurance, our health has already been affected negatively. Now, some of us are going to be able to recover quite well, but if you can imagine a major heart attack, stroke, an aneurysm, and all the other bad stuff that can happen, once they happen, they're costly, they're timely, they change the quality of our life. And not only that, but you sort of become dependent on that health insurance, right? You really now have to think about, well, what are my annual out of cost maximums that I have to make sure that I need so that I can afford this? I know I'm going to have to get multiple CTs and MRIs and EKGs and stress tests for my heart. I have to do a lot of physical rehabilitation for my stroke. So I have to make sure that my insurance will cover that. Instead, when you spend the money up front proactively with your physician, one of the things that this can do is actually ensure health. So that's why health is different from health insurance, because health insurance will protect the very bottom, the bottom line, the bottom end, right? But from the top down, that's a huge ocean where you have the ability to impact your health and hopefully never ever have to use your health insurance for anything major. It bears repeating, because we know that the majority of the chronic diseases that we face in our society are preventable. So we know cancer, dementia, diabetes, and heart disease are, for the most part, very preventable. Of course, this can also sound a little bit accusatory, like, oh, well, if you just do something different, you're going to be fine and it's your fault. No, that's not true. We're all in this experiment in this world where things are constantly changing around us. We have jobs that we have to go to, which are, 8 to 5. We don't have any control over that. We have stress factors that we have to deal with that we don't have a lot of control over. And our food system sort of has its own mind, has a mind of its own, as they say, and is, of course, controlled by certain government entities and big corporations, yes. And we don't have a lot of control over that. When we are stressed, we're probably going to reach for something that isn't always the best thing for us. But with all of that said, it doesn't mean that we can't take some steps towards making sure that we don't end up with some sort of a health event that's probably preventable, that could have been prevented. And fortunately, one step you take in the right direction for your health has exponential effects. So the 1 pound that I lose, the 10 minutes of extra exercise that I do a week is usually 10 times the effect. So it's not like I have to lose 1 pound to get 1% difference. No, I lose 10 pounds and I get 50%, 100% decrease in my risk of death, all-cause mortality, morbidity, all of the nerdy stuff that you hear doctors talk about. So I think one way to change our mindset is to understand that we are in charge of our health, that on a day-to-day basis, what we do and the decisions we make will impact our long-term health, and they genuinely and definitely will decrease the chance of chronic medical conditions. And the health insurance that we have is just there in case for those rare events that are completely out of our control. And those events, when they happen, we have health insurance. We know that we're going to be able to afford the kind of care that we need. I hope this is useful. I hope for those of you who have been debating whether you should take some steps towards your health, I hope this kind of sheds a light on how to think about these things. Now, I'm here for you. If you're interested in having a deeper conversation, I want you to reach out to me. I'm at digitalnomadhealth.com. My name is Mohammed Ashori, MD. I go by Dr. Mo. I'm a family medicine physician, so my practice does a bit of everything. So I see pediatric, elderly, geriatric, and everybody else in the middle, the biohackers and the ultra athletes. But my goal, my approach is different in that we really risk stratify you. We really sit down together and come up with a lot of important questions to ask to figure out what are the risks you might face individually for certain cancers, to heart disease, to all of the major killers or diseases in our society, and what can we do? What steps can we take to mitigate that? So if you're interested, go to digitalnomadhealth.com. You can email me, drmo, at digitalnomadhealth.com. Thank you for listening to this, and I will see you soon.